Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of meeting with Alyson Brandt. She's General Manager of the Americas with the Forum Corporation. Welcome, Ali.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you.
So, the Forum Corporation has been known for having a lot of foresight and a lot of insight in the profession of selling. So let's start with, what trends do you see on the horizon?
Well, one of the trends that we see are CEOs are focused more on sales effectiveness than they've been in a long time. And I think it's in large part due to the fact that over the last few years we've had to wring out most of our costs in our organizations, focusing on operating profit. And as we look to drive new growth, top-line growth, adding more headcount isn't an easy and viable solution for many organizations. So optimizing the sales organization and its performance is critical. What we found at Forum, in order to do that effectively, you need to do three things at least. The first is clarify that strategy. The second is align both the people and the structures and the processes around that strategy. And lastly, to motivate people so that they are focused and engaged on executing that strategy.
There is an old adage that selling is all about relationships, and there are those social tools like LinkedIn, and salespeople spend a considerable amount of time in looking whether this person plays golf, or this person is fly fishing, or this person plays tennis, and then they bring this to the meetings and they think they're clever. Do you think that's clever?
It's part of how we think about selling, and I would suggest that there are different ways to think about what buyers are looking for today. And in fact, the Forum Corporation, as well as some other highly credible organizations, have been looking at what's shifted for senior level buyers in their expectations and how they make decisions. We all know that buyers make up to almost 50% or maybe even more of their decisions before we even know that they're looking at us. Mm-hmm. But also there are some misnomers about what customers expect. In 2011, Forum did research to understand what are the key criteria that make a prospective buyer decide to take a meeting with you. And two of the top three were, you know my company or you know my industry. And what that implies is they're looking for insight and they're looking for more value. What's often very surprising to people is, of the 21 indicators or factors that influenced whether somebody took a meeting with you, the very last was whether you know me. So it's a myth buster, if you will, to believe that you have to know somebody in order to be effective in the sales role and get a meeting.
So LinkedIn is good for making a connection, but not necessarily. It shouldn't become the primary or secondary subject on the agenda.
I think you need both. You need relationships, mm-hmm. and people still value and want to make choices on how easy it is to work with you and if they know you. And we can't, as sales professionals, believe that it's the only way to make progress in an organization is if you know the person. So it's about networks, it's about leveraging as much information and relationships as you can to give yourself advantage.
Right. So tell me more about thought leadership selling and what skills are necessary to execute.
Great. So there's an evolving trend that many call thought leadership selling. We call it point of view selling. And what we know about this through our research and our experience is that in order to call higher in an organization and to meet these evolving needs of senior level buyers, consultative selling skills isn't enough. And what I mean by that is asking questions, having good listening skills, and asking traditional questions like, what keeps you up at night? Senior level buyers don't have time or patience for that. So you need to do a couple of things differently. One is be able to educate the customer about that issue and your compelling idea you're bringing forward. The second is you have to have a thought-provoking idea that you're willing to be more proactive with earlier in the buying, and you have to help them think about their decision-making process. So as we looked at the things that customers expect differently, spending time with them differently, bringing insight earlier to earn the right to have these conversations, we've helped create ways that help sales leaders and salespeople do that in a reliable way that helps them build credibility and outcompete their competitors. A great example of that is with Siemens. Siemens is a manufacturer of many things, including LED light bulbs. One of their primary key customer groups in their segmentation are large cities. And one of the large cities that they were working with and bringing advice to had a major challenge in a couple of ways. The first was there was increasing energy costs, and they didn't have the funds in their budget to support those increasing costs. And they had a lot of political pressure to become more green. So Siemens looked at this problem and reframed it and figured out that over the course of time they could help the city replace 60,000 incandescent bulbs with their LED bulbs, and with a financing support program that they had in place over the course of 5 years, they completely replaced the bulbs, decreased their energy cost, increased their savings, and became more green in effect. What that sales team did is they redefined and reframed that challenge for the customer, the city in this case, and helped them think about solutions they never would have thought of. So that's an example of what we need to do as sales professionals in changing the game, calling higher, being more provoking and proactive in the ideas that we put on the table.
Thank you very much, Ali. And for all those who are interested about the Forum Corporation, go to forum.com.